Welcome back to Robot Ray Channel. Today, we're diving into the annals of history to uncover some fascinating facts about ancient wars. From clashes between empires to pivotal battles that changed the course of nations, these wars have left an indelible mark on human history. Join us as we count down the top 10 ancient wars you probably didn't know much about. Don't forget to give a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more incredible videos. Number 10. The Battle of Megiddo, 1457 BCE. The Battle of Megiddo, fought around 1457 BCE, is renowned not only for its historical significance but also for its strategic implications in ancient warfare. This pivotal clash saw Pharaoh Thutmose III of Egypt face off against a coalition of Canaanite city-states led by the king of Kadesh. Despite being outnumbered, Thutmose III employed innovative military tactics, including a surprise attack through rugged terrain, which allowed his army to achieve a decisive victory. The battle's outcome secured Egypt's dominance over the Levant and established Thutmose III as one of Egypt's greatest warrior pharaohs, expanding the Egyptian empire to its greatest extent. The Battle of Megiddo's impact extended beyond military conquests. It showcased the effectiveness of chariot warfare and highlighted Egypt's mastery in coordinating infantry and cavalry units. The battle's aftermath led to a period of stability and prosperity under Egyptian rule in the region, influencing subsequent military strategies and serving as a model for future campaigns in ancient history. Number 9. The Peloponnesian War, 431 to 404 BCE. The Peloponnesian War, spanning from 431 to 404 BCE, was a transformative conflict that engulfed ancient Greece and reshaped the balance of power in the Mediterranean world. It pitted Athens, a naval powerhouse and cultural hub of the Delian League, against Sparta, leader of the Peloponnesian League and renowned for its formidable land forces. The war erupted due to long-standing tensions between Athens and Sparta over dominance and conflicting political ideologies. Surprisingly, despite Athens' naval superiority, Sparta's land forces and alliances with other Greek states proved decisive. The war dragged on through phases of truce and renewed hostilities, ravaging Greek cities and causing widespread suffering, including a devastating plague that struck Athens in 430 BCE. The Peloponnesian War's conclusion marked a turning point in Greek history. Athens, exhausted and weakened, surrendered to Sparta in 404 BCE, ending its hegemony and leading to a period of Spartan dominance. This conflict exposed the vulnerabilities of Greek city-state alliances and contributed to the decline of classical Greek civilization, paving the way for the rise of Macedon and later the Hellenistic world under Alexander the Great. Despite its tragic toll, the Peloponnesian War left a lasting legacy in military strategy, political theory, and cultural reflection, influencing subsequent thinkers and historians for centuries to come. Number 8. The Punic Wars, 264 to 146 BCE. The Punic Wars, spanning from 264 to 146 BCE, were a series of three conflicts between the Roman Republic and the Carthaginian Empire that profoundly shaped the course of Western Mediterranean history. The wars began over territorial disputes in Sicily and escalated into a struggle for dominance between Rome and Carthage. Surprisingly, the First Punic War, 264 to 241 BCE, primarily centered on naval warfare, where Rome, with little naval experience, rapidly built a formidable fleet to challenge Carthage's maritime supremacy. The war culminated in Rome's victory and the acquisition of Sicily, marking its first overseas province. The Second Punic War, 218–201 BCE, is best remembered for the legendary Carthaginian general Hannibal Barca's daring invasion of Italy, famously crossing the Alps with war elephants. Hannibal inflicted several devastating defeats on Roman armies, but ultimately, Roman resilience and strategic counterattacks, led by Scipio Africanus, reversed Carthaginian gains. The war concluded with Rome's decisive victory at the Battle of Zama in 202 BCE, resulting in Carthage surrendering Spain and undergoing severe financial and territorial concessions. The Third Punic War, 149 to 146 BCE, ended with the complete destruction of Carthage, marking Rome's hegemony over the Mediterranean and solidifying its status as the dominant power in the ancient world. Number 7. The Battle of Gaugamela, 331 BCE. The Battle of Gaugamela in 331 BCE was a pivotal clash between the forces of Alexander the Great of Macedon and King Darius III of Persia, marking a decisive moment in Alexander's campaign to conquer the Persian Empire. Surprisingly, despite being vastly outnumbered, Alexander's strategic brilliance and audacious tactics secured a resounding victory. Prior to the battle, Darius III amassed a massive army, including war elephants, in a bid to halt Alexander's advance. However, Alexander's precise planning and rapid maneuvers neutralized the Persian advantage. He deployed his forces in an oblique formation, feigned a retreat to lure Darius into a disorganized pursuit, and then executed a devastating cavalry charge that shattered the Persian lines. The Battle of Gaugamela not only solidified Alexander's reputation as one of history's greatest military commanders but also cemented his control over the Persian Empire. Following the battle, Alexander continued his eastward conquests, absorbing Persian territories and advancing further into Central Asia. Gaugamela's aftermath marked the decline of the Achaemenid Persian Empire and the rise of Hellenistic influence in the Near East, spreading Greek culture, language, and governance throughout the conquered regions. The battle's strategic lessons in mobility, deception, and decisive maneuvering have remained influential in military theory and tactics across centuries. Number 6. The Han-Xiongnu War, 133 BCE to 89 CE. The Han-Xiongnu War, spanning from 133 BCE to 89 CE, was a prolonged and significant conflict between the Han dynasty of China and the Xiongnu Confederation of nomadic tribes in the northern steppes. Surprisingly, this war was not just a military confrontation but also a complex diplomatic and strategic challenge for the Han emperors. Initially, the Han sought to contain and negotiate with the Xiongnu through tribute payments, but recurring raids and incursions into Han territory forced military responses. The conflict intensified under Emperor Wu of Han, who launched several large-scale military campaigns aimed at securing the northern frontier and pushing back the Xiongnu threat. One of the surprising aspects of the Han-Xiongnu War was the development of the Great Wall of China as a defensive barrier against Xiongnu raids. Emperor Wu initiated massive construction efforts to fortify and extend the wall, marking the beginning of its evolution into the iconic structure known today. Despite the Han dynasty's military successes, the war remained a drain on resources and manpower, contributing to internal instability and economic strain. Ultimately, the war ended with a series of peace treaties and marriage alliances, which temporarily stabilized the northern frontier but also set a precedent for future nomadic incursions and Chinese defensive strategies. Number 5. The Roman-Parthian Wars, 53 BCE to 217 CE. The Roman-Parthian Wars spanned several centuries from 53 BCE to 217 CE and were characterized by intermittent conflicts and diplomatic maneuvering between the Roman Republic and later the Roman Empire, and the Parthian Empire, centered in ancient Persia. Surprisingly, these wars were influenced by the geopolitical dynamics of the time, including control over lucrative trade routes and territorial ambitions. Initially, the Romans sought to expand eastward into Parthian territory, but faced formidable challenges from Parthian cavalry tactics and fortified cities. One of the key surprises was the Battle of Carrhae in 53 BCE, where a large Roman army led by Crassus was decisively defeated by Parthian forces under General Serena, showcasing the effectiveness of Parthian mounted archers and armored cavalry. Throughout the Roman-Parthian Wars, both empires engaged in a series of campaigns marked by shifting alliances, sieges, and proxy conflicts with client states. The wars saw periods of Roman expansion under emperors like Trajan, who briefly conquered Mesopotamia, and periods of Parthian resurgence under leaders such as King Vologases IV. Despite frequent peace treaties and diplomatic efforts, the frontier between the Roman and Parthian empires remained contentious, often serving as a buffer zone of conflict and negotiation between East and West. These wars ultimately highlighted the challenges of maintaining control over vast, culturally diverse territories and shaped the boundaries and interactions of civilizations in the ancient Near East. Number 4. The Three Kingdoms War, 220 to 280 CE. The Three Kingdoms War, spanning from 220 to 280 CE, was a turbulent period in ancient Chinese history marked by the dissolution of the Han dynasty and the emergence of three rival states, Wei, Shu, and Wu. Surprisingly, this era was characterized not only by fierce military conflicts but also by strategic alliances, political intrigue, and the rise of legendary heroes and generals. Each kingdom vied for supremacy over China, with Wei in the north, Shu in the southwest, and Wu in the southeast, each led by ambitious warlords seeking to unify the fractured empire under their rule. One of the surprising aspects of the Three Kingdoms War was the strategic genius displayed by figures like Cao Cao of Wei, Liu Bei of Shu, and Sun Quan of Wu, who navigated alliances and betrayals to gain military advantage. Iconic battles such as the Battle of Red Cliffs in 208 CE, where the allied forces of Liu Bei and Sun Quan decisively defeated Cao Cao's numerically superior fleet, showcased the importance of tactical innovation and strategic alliances in ancient Chinese warfare. The Three Kingdoms period ultimately ended with the reunification of China under the Jin dynasty in 280 CE, marking a significant chapter in Chinese history and leaving a lasting cultural legacy in literature, art, and philosophy. Number 3. The Byzantine Arab Wars, 7th–11th centuries CE. The Byzantine Arab Wars, spanning from the 7th to the 11th centuries CE, were a series of conflicts between the Byzantine Empire and the expanding Arab caliphates. Surprisingly, these wars were not only military in nature but also cultural and religious, as they shaped the political landscape of the Eastern Mediterranean and Near East. The initial conflict erupted with the Muslim conquests in the 7th century, leading to the rapid expansion of the Rashidun and later the Umayyad caliphates into Byzantine territories in Syria, Egypt, and North Africa. The Byzantines, under Emperor Heraclius, initially resisted these invasions but faced significant setbacks, including the loss of Jerusalem and Alexandria. Throughout the Byzantine Arab Wars, both sides engaged in prolonged sieges, naval battles, and strategic alliances with local powers. One of the surprising aspects of these wars was the resilience of the Byzantine Empire under successive emperors, who launched counter-offensives and fortified key cities like Constantinople. The wars also witnessed periods of cultural exchange, particularly during the Abbasid Caliphate, when Baghdad became a center of learning and trade. Despite intermittent peace treaties and truces, the Byzantine Arab Wars left a lasting impact on the region, contributing to the demographic, linguistic, and religious shifts that shaped the Middle East and Mediterranean world for centuries to come. Number 2. The Viking Invasions, 8th–11th centuries CE. The Viking invasions, spanning from the 8th to the 11th centuries CE, were a series of raids and explorations by Norse seafarers from Scandinavia across Europe, the Mediterranean, and even reaching North America. Surprisingly, these invasions were not just about plunder and conquest but also about trade, settlement, and cultural exchange. Beginning with sporadic raids on coastal communities, Vikings eventually established settlements in regions such as England, Ireland, Normandy, in modern-day France, and Sicily. The Viking expansion was facilitated by their advanced shipbuilding techniques and navigational skills, which allowed them to traverse vast distances and navigate rivers and oceans. One of the surprising aspects of the Viking invasions was their impact on European politics and culture. Viking raids on monasteries and towns in Western Europe during the 9th century, such as the famous raid on Lindisfarne in 793 CE, marked the beginning of a period of turmoil and insecurity. However, Vikings also integrated into local societies through trade and alliances, eventually contributing to the emergence of new kingdoms and dynasties. The Viking Age came to an end with the Christianization of Scandinavia and the consolidation of European kingdoms, but their legacy in language, law, and exploration endured, shaping medieval Europe's development and leaving a lasting imprint on history. Number 1. The Mongol Conquests, 13th–14th centuries CE. The Mongol conquests of the 13th and 14th centuries CE were a series of military campaigns led by the Mongol Empire under leaders like Genghis Khan and his successors, which resulted in the largest contiguous land empire in history. Surprisingly, these conquests were characterized by unparalleled speed, coordination, and brutality, as the Mongols swiftly overwhelmed civilizations from East Asia to Eastern Europe. Genghis Khan's innovative military strategies, including the effective use of cavalry and siege warfare, enabled the Mongols to conquer vast territories and establish a unified empire stretching from China to the Middle East and into Eastern Europe. One of the surprising aspects of the Mongol conquests was their impact on global history and culture. The Mongols implemented administrative reforms, fostered trade along the Silk Road, and facilitated cultural exchanges that connected East and West. Despite their reputation for destruction, the Mongols also promoted religious tolerance and governance innovations that influenced later empires. The Mongol Empire fragmented into successor states after Genghis Khan's death, but its legacy persisted in the political, economic, and cultural spheres, shaping Eurasian history for centuries to come. And there you have it, our top 10 ancient wars that shaped civilizations and changed the world as we know it. Which historical conflict surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more fascinating insights into history and beyond. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay curious.